We are storytellers with sound.
I can't sit in silence. There has to be music, and it pushes me to do things that I probably would never have considered doing before.
Hello everybody, this is DJ 𝗏𝗏, and you are sailing the sound waves on the men behind the music at the lovely Cuesta College. We are here with Howlean, who has gained traction on TikTok, and it's just absolutely fascinating to see a rising star. Also has released amazing music. So here we are. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Howlean.
Hi guys, I'm really happy to be here. I'm honored to be part of this, and it's so nice meeting you and getting the chance to talk to you guys.
That's wonderful. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. I just came home from my music program, and yeah, everything is going well.
Awesome. And so you have a background in music? You have a music program? What is that?
I don't have any background in music, but when I came back to Paris, I had to do more studies, and I picked a sound and music program. It's basically like sound designing, to learn how to be a producer and engineer and everything, because I want to be able to produce by myself.
So you're going to college for that? So you got an education. So we're dealing with the real deal. We got a professional here.
Yeah, but I just started. Like, I don't really have anything, to be honest.
But you know, your music that you release is, you know, phenomenal, and so clearly you have some knowledge. So have you gone, like, in high school? Did you have like a musical background?
No, not at all. I've been singing and writing since I was a kid, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But my music, like, I only write and sing. So most of it is also a big work of my producers and my engineer. So not everything is thanks to me, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But I do want to learn how to do all that by myself.
And do you have help? The music that you've released so far, have you had someone help mix it for you, or?
Yeah, like I said, I have a producer. Well, actually, I have two, but I also
That's
have one
cool.
of my friends who's like, he recorded me and he mixed and mastered everything.
Cool, cool. And diving into the questions. And so how old were you exactly when you decided to go into music?
It's kind of complicated because I always wanted to make music since I was a kid. But when I was about 13, 14, I started listening to this singer called 𝘂𝗲𝗄𝗏.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as much as a fan of him as I was at the time, but at the time, like, he really saved me in a period of time where I was feeling really bad. And I don't know, he just made me feel like music was more than just singing, and it was a way of helping people and building a community and everything. And I felt like that was the way I wanted to live my life, helping people and singing and writing. And I kind of found excuses for myself for the longest time, like, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough contacts, I don't live in the right place and stuff like that. But when I arrived in Toronto, I saw one of my best friends, who's a singer, on stage, and I saw her, and I was like, she can do it. I should be able to do it too. So I just picked up my courage and I started, and I wrote to producers and everything.
That's awesome. And so your
Thank you.
inspirations, you'd say, come from 𝘂𝗲𝗏. And I saw that you went to a concert recently
Yeah.
and posted a video. He was looking directly at you. And I know technically he wasn't looking at you, but the look he gave, honestly, it was just like, ooh, Howlean. Howlean's in the audience. Like, oh, I better impress Howlean.
I wish, bro, I wish. But yeah, I don't think he meant to look at me. But yeah, like, I have a lot of inspirations. 𝘂𝗏𝗏 is part of it, but mostly the way he is as a person with his fans and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But musically speaking, I think my inspirations would be more like towards bad omens, Ballet Royale. I love Muse, I love Evanescence, I love Billie Eilish too. She's
You
a
like
huge
Billy?
inspiration.
I love Billy.
Yeah, I love Billie. I
Mm.
love Billie. I would say my first song, Reflection, is more like dark pop Billie Eilish inspired compared to the second one.
Which album would you say? The first one, the recent one?
Yeah, the first ever song I released was definitely Billie Eilish inspired.
Like,
But this,
talk about like which album, which Billy's album. So that would be obviously
oh,
like Bad
sorry.
Guy, maybe. No,
I'd
Nemesis doesn't
say,
really sound like Bad Guy. It kind of sounds like that one Bury a Friend. A little bit, just that
yeah,
vibe.
yeah, I said that vibe, the really dark pop Billie Eilish like first albums vibes. Like when we fall asleep, where do we go? Kind of.
Yeah.
Um, what I really like about it. And my future MV for my next song is actually kind of inspired by Bury a Friend
Mm.
and the like kind of idea of the MV. So yeah, huge Billie Eilish inspired.
And I will let you know that this meeting, we have 2 meetings scheduled. This one ends in 10 minutes. So if it cuts off, don't worry. It'll just be intermission and we'll switch over. So don't worry about that. I got that covered. Anyway, so I wanted to also ask about Nemesis because Nemesis is the one, and after this is all done, we're gonna be playing a snippet of Nemesis as well as the. Maybe do you want to like give them a little taste of the the song that you're gonna be releasing soon, or do you want to keep that like secret?
Yeah, I'd love to. It's not completely done, but I can definitely send you a version of it.
Okay. I think we'll just play Nemesis for now. But
So,
Nemesis, is that the first one that you released in this trilogy of this girl who's like going through this journey of trying to find out, like, I think she was like placed in this world and she wants revenge. So go ahead and dive into the lore.
so I can't say too much about it because the whole lore is gonna be an entire album that's
Mm.
coming out hopefully next year or the year after.
You want to tell
Um,
us about
but basically,
what we're expecting from Nemesis? What you hope that they kind of like, what the start of the story?
the start of the story actually comes with another song that's gonna be in the album, and then comes Reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And in Nemesis is the revenge part of the story because you'll see when I dive more into the story and when I release the album and everything. But like the whole story is basically about an angel and she fell in love and she wanted to experience love on Earth and everything, but she got betrayed and it was really bad for her. And at some points, basically in reflection at the end, like during the entire song, you can hear another voice speaking to her, and
Mm-hmm.
it's basically her reflection, and she's kind of like an evil version of herself.
Mm.
And at the end, she breaks the mirror and takes control of her. And that's why Nemesis happens, because the evil version of the angel takes the power and takes the control and gets her revenge on all the people that hurt her during
That's
the story.
awesome. That's awesome. I love that character arc. And that explains a little bit about you inside and some experiences you have. I don't know if you want me to mention, but
Yeah.
you've had a tumultuous romantic past, and it's just so beautiful that people can incorporate that into their art. And that Taylor Swift, she gets a bad rap. I know her album actually was poo, her recent one, and she does have some ghostwriters. Like Benny Blanco actually wrote her songs, but she would ask him like, "This is what inspired me. This is what people are telling me about me," and so when she writes about her pain or has people write and help her write, it's actually a good thing. When artists have a lot to say and they want to tell the world what they went through, of course you're
Mhm.
going to want to, tell them about what you experienced through love. Like that's how you let out those demons. And so I think that's wonderful that you're talking about this through art. And so Nemesis is the kind of like it's talking about the part of you that that's the evil part. Would you say that you kind of have a battle internally because you're turning this into art? Would you say that you have a nemesis part of you that's just the dark version of you?
I would say I definitely do. It's not necessarily taking the control like in the song, but I do feel like I have this voice and this kind of rage that never really comes out, but tells me things. Like I'm gonna sound crazy the way I say this, but basically, um, yeah, it's just like I have this part of me that kind of is dark and wants to get revenge and wants to hurt people the way she got hurt. But obviously, the real me, I hate hurting people, and I'm really sweet, and I'm hypersensitive, and I could never hurt anyone. I can't even really hate anyone, so
That's adorable.
I would
That's
probably
adorable.
say
And you
that.
know, the thing about your TikToks that I saw, because one of your videos popped up in my feed, I think a little while ago, and it was, you know, because you have this dark, like, emo aesthetic. And so that the confidence you have on camera is very much different compared to how you are now. You're just like this really sweet little lamb. And so what when you do these TikToks, and would you say that the person that you're portraying is your nemesis? Would you say that?
I
Like
would not
over
say it's my nemesis, but I would say it's definitely something different than what I am. I would say it's more like a protection.
mm,
My TikToks give me a kind of confidence that I don't have in my everyday life. Because even though I seem really confident in these TikToks and everything, I'm not. Like, I absolutely don't have any self-confidence.
oh, well, you seem very
But
confident. And, you know, you got all these
I
millions of
try.
views. And when you got those millions of views, the first like time that you got those views, how did you feel? Did you feel that confidence increase a little bit? Do you think that they know that behind this this cool person that you're just like them, maybe?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how I felt. I think the first time I ever got a bunch of views, I was pretty young and it felt crazy. But with time, it's kind of sad to say, but I got kind of used to it. And it, like, it's hard to really see the people that are liking this because it's just a screen, it's just numbers and you see people popping up and like, okay, this person liked your video, this person commented, but I don't know these people, I don't see them, I don't really talk to them, so like it's hard to really imagine that, like, for example, like one of my TikToks make 5 million views. I'm struggling to imagine this like 5 million people seeing my face on their For You page, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of, yeah. But I'm always telling people like I did a bunch of TikToks explaining to people that the person they see on my TikTok is not necessarily who I am, because I get tons of comments telling me like, "Oh, I want to be like you. I want to look like you. I want to," and everything. And I'm like, guys, I'm not necessarily like this. It's not because you see me, this version of me on your screen, that I am like this, that my life is perfect or anything. Like, just be yourself and try to be the best version of yourself you can be. And I think that's the only thing that matters.
Hmm.
So yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm going to dive into this in a second. We're going to go to that other meeting. Until then, they're going to listen to my wonderful backtrack because I don't have a choice. So go ahead and log on to that other meeting and we'll continue because I want to hear all about this.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Recording. Recording in progress.
Hello. Welcome back. Hi, 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 hi. Oh, your microphone. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
Well, welcome back, of course. And yeah, no, I just don't want to pay for Zoom. I don't want to pay. I'll be paying with our department card because this is also Cuesta College, and you're being also heard by the Fremont Theater, and then Vina Robles. They are the I think we had Oliver Tree perform, and then some others. I think Bad Bunny performed at the Fremont. So shout out to the Fremont. We're going to be doing some ticket giveaways, and you're being broadcasted. This is pre-recorded, guys. It's very common for radio hosts to record things just so that way everyone feels comfortable. And also, you're being heard by Cuesta College and Cal Poly, big campuses. And so I want to make sure that you get the best quality. I digress. That being said, I also want to go back into the deep dive into your persona. Now, I also want to ask one more question before we go back into the lore. There's something that I noticed about your videos. Did you know that your video was used as an ad for an AI company a couple years ago? I saw the one, it was from Ride the Cyclone, and it was a sped up version where it was like, return the knife that I stuck 10 times in his back, and I saw that that was used as an ad. Did you know that it was being used as an ad? You're being used by like TikTok as an ad.
No, I didn't know about this.
I wanted to ask you because I saw that a couple years ago. So when I saw you, I was like, I think I recognize this person, and they actually used that video, and the comments were saying, oh my gosh, I love Howlean, like, oh, someone should let her know that she's being used as an ad, and they're just like, oh, she's so pretty. But I didn't know if you knew, and that one doesn't have the most views, but it's still one that was just like incredible because your lip syncing is phenomenal in it. And I wanted to know, like, how do you feel about the fact that you was used as an ad? That must be a weird feeling.
Yeah, like what the hell? I didn't know about this. I want to see that and like tell them to remove it. What the fuck?
I
had
didn't know.
no idea.
They were doing that for a while. They were using, like they use people for Lemonade. I mean, you were entitled. They used your image, so you are entitled to compensation. Just for the record, you deserve to get paid. So there's a cash prize there. So prepare to get some. I don't think you'd have to sue, but like prepare to get some money from that, some cash money.
Yeah, don't use me like that. I wasn't paid for it. I didn't even know about it.
I wanted to surprise you with that fact. And that video you made, would you say that this video, considering they use it as an ad, would you say that it's one of your most favorites? Like, out of all the TikToks you've made, would you say that that one is one that you were necessarily proud of, or?
Honestly, I do like it. I think this video is from like back to 2022 or something.
Really? Because I got it
Uh,
recently. I got this ad at the beginning of the year.
yeah, well, send it to me if you find it again. But I think this video is pretty old because I didn't use this sound in a while.
Yeah, it's not
But
trending anymore.
I don't think it's the video I'm most proud of. I don't think there's any video in particular I'm really proud of, but I'm really proud of some of my actings with like crazy Halloween makeups. I'm really
Yeah, I
proud of
saw
these.
that. So I showed the other DJ some of your TikToks because I was like, oh, she makes TikToks too, and they think they like the emo style. And another one, do you want to feature your music in your TikToks now that you have all these followers? Like, I haven't seen you really like put Nemesis in there. I would like to see what you do. Like, Reflection could be the new trending audio. Like, you're
I tried.
you
I
tried.
tried, girl.
Keep
I
going.
tried.
Keep going.
I tried to start a trend with reflection. I posted a bunch of TikToks like transitions for Halloween last year and stuff like that. And some of my followers did some videos, but like honestly, maybe 10 videos were made.
Listen,
But
I saw there's so many musicians like Ash Nico, like every other minute she's using her own sound for TikTok, and most of the videos underneath the sound are all 300 are just her. But the more videos that are underneath the sound, the more they'll promote the sound. So if you want, you could just flood and spam people with Reflection.
yeah,
Just like fill it up. Like technically there are 300 videos under the sound. They're all me, but there are
yeah. I
300.
mean, I guess. I didn't do it for Nemesis, and it's been a few months since I released that, but I am gonna do a lot of contents for Lullaby, which is
Mm,
the next song.
mm.
Because we're gonna film an MV and everything, so there's gonna be like making of for the MV, some extracts, some like interviews with the team, like the filming team and everything. There's also gonna be a release party, so I'm gonna do a lot of content about the release party, like professionally and also like kind of making of and vlogging and stuff. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of content with Lullaby. So
Mm.
hopefully this one works a lot. We'll see.
Okay. And yeah, Lullaby is in the next trilogy. Would you also say that you value your music over TikTok? Would you, if you were to produce, if you had the floor and the internet was looking at you and you're just showing them who you are and what your brand is, would you show them your music or would you show them your TikToks?
I would
Because
show my music.
you obviously, yeah. And that being said, like, do you value your music over TikTok?
Yeah, definitely. I've been on TikTok for 10 years and I'm really happy of my TikTok, but like
10 years,
I
10
don't
years already.
really
I'm such an unk. I'm such an unk because I started it 2020. I feel so old. 10 years on TikTok. What
well,
already?
because I started in Musical.ly.
Oh, oh. Did you like have a fan base and then that fan base started transferring over to TikTok, or did you like boom on TikTok?
Kinda. I had I think 4,000 followers when I stopped Musical.ly.
Hmm.
And then it all grew on TikTok. But honestly, I loved TikTok in like 21, no, like 2020, 2021. Even like 2022 was okay. But right now, I'm not a big fan of TikTok, honestly. Like, I struggle to find content to do because actings are not working anymore. Nobody cares about crazy makeups and everything. They just want to do trends and cry over sad stuff. And I'm like,
Oh yeah,
I
I honestly went viral on
wasn't there.
TikTok recently. I got 1 million views, and I was just like, oh my god! But it's only about drama. It was about the drama with that TikToker that went to the Charlie Kirk Memorial. Like, who cares?
Like,
Who cares? And
yes.
they were not focusing on anything else. And then I did something stupid. I was feeling I was feeling like really mischievous, and I was also like, you know what? Why not mess with people? And I decided to make a video that says that James Charles died. And I was like on air and talking about how James Charles sucks. That was the joke. And then my DJ comes in and tells me that James Charles died, and then I fake cry and scream. It's supposed to be just making fun of people who overreact over fake celebrity deaths. And that one got 500,000 views. And it was so stupid because we're like, oh my god, is he actually dead? And then they went to his comments like, are you dead? And that was it's the first search that comes up. Is James Charles dead? And I was like, I really hope that this doesn't come back to bite me. But the fact that the only thing that I was able to get viral for is just about something that's like, controversial, because James Charles is controversial. That was so frustrating because I have Julie's tapes and all these things at my radio show, but they're only paying attention to people that are doing something bad. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Like,
it's there's this phrase in the industry that at this program, my professor, who is now my boss, teaches. It's called "If it bleeds, it leads." And people have this fascination with true crime, and all you see is bad stuff in the news, and it's because humans have a morbid fascination with sad things. It makes them feel something. They have maybe boring lives, and so when they hear some drama or something like that, that's what sells the most. That's where you get the most viewers. And the reason why they have all these bad news and they only report bad news is because people don't want to listen to good news. And so there's a lot of good things in the world, but they're not going to report on that because then they won't make money. That's just how human beings are. So don't worry, it's not you. And
yeah,
I,
I know, but it's so frustrating because like I said, I've been on TikTok for years and I really loved it at some point because if you go back in my TikToks, like in 2020, 2019, I was doing all my videos in like black and white and I was doing actings and crazy makeups and like it was amateur, but like it looked really good and there was a vibe. And now this type of content is not working anymore. And the only TikToks that I do that are making a lot of views are thirst traps
nah,
and like basic trends, and it's so frustrating because it's not what I enjoy doing, you know? Like I don't really enjoy doing tons of thirst trap, and I don't enjoy doing like basic two slide photo trends. But if I want to keep a community and keep a community like growing, while I'm making my music on the side, I have to do these things, and it's so sad because it's not what I like doing, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't have the choice because otherwise you're just shadow banned.
Yeah, and that sucks. And I don't think it has something to do with the people buying TikTok. I think it has to do with just people wanting
I
drama.
think it's just
Want
people, it's just generations changing.
No, it's frustrating. And I also think I want to blame the fact that people need something to be passionate about these days. They need something to be mad about. And this interview will be replayed over the semesters, but where we are at in time, it's 2025 in October, and people are upset about the war in the Middle East and things like that. And because they can't do anything about it, they want to focus on what the things that they can control in the United States. And so they're angry. They're angry, and they need something to be passionate about. And it sucks that you have to, like, make yourself look, you have to objectify yourself just so that way you can get views. But I do think something that may actually help you is that if you continue to do that and use your music, then maybe one day you won't have to do that because they'll find out about your music. I'm positive that people who see these thirst traps, they don't know that you make music that rocks. So have you made a thirst trap to your music yet? Have you thought about doing that?
Yeah, I did. I did a few. When I talk about thirst trap, like obviously, I'm not really exposing myself too much. It's more like
Yeah,
in my acting.
yeah. That
Um,
I know. I get that. I get that.
but honestly, I'm more satisfied now because I mean, this thirst trap still helped me build self-confidence because obviously I think I look good in these, so I feel better about myself. But
Yeah.
I started making them again because my community kind of changed and my comments changed. Because now it's mostly girls being like cursing over me and like, oh my God, I'm bi. Oh my God, I'm not straight anymore. Like, yeah,
Gross.
like, do you be my mommy and everything? And I'm like, okay, this is cute. Honestly, this is cute. But at some
Ah.
point, I remember for a few months, like, I almost stopped TikTok because every time, like, I remember posting this video on TikTok. It was just an acting. I think it's a scene in You with
Mm.
Jenna Ortega, and she's like, "Oh, do you want to fuck me, William?" or something like that.
Oh, you can't
And
cuss. Can't cuss on air. It's all right. It's all right. You can't cuss. You can
oh,
let. Yeah.
sorry, I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's
But
fine. It's fine. It's fine. You people, like, as a radio host, I can't cuss. You can cuss. We can let one cuss word, but you cannot.
well,
Go ahead. Go ahead. What were you saying?
that's fine. But that's what she says in the audio, basically.
Mm.
And this guy in my comments responded, "Oh yeah, all your followers do." And I was like,
Uh.
"What the fuck? I'm so you.
Right.
You don't
Yeah.
even. Why would you say something like that?
Yeah, that
Like you
sucks.
don't even what age I am. Like I could be a minor. Like this is
Right.
so creepy.
People have gotten too cocky with it. Now, how old are you? Because getting your start at such a young age is phenomenal. I'm really happy that you're doing this young. So you're only like 19, 20?
Yeah, I'm 19.
Okay. And, that being said, 5 years ago when you started TikTok, you started, getting some traction, then you were probably like maybe 15, 16,
Yeah, I was 14 at the time when
14.
I started getting views.
And do you think they knew that you were a minor? Or do you think that they didn't know?
I don't think they knew. I always looked older than I am.
Oh, that
And
sucks. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to talk about my age because when I was in middle school, mostly I got harassed because of my age because I
Oh.
passed and I had 1 year, like I was 1 year younger than everyone in my class and everything. So I got harassed a lot for that. So I kind of developed like a lack in self-confidence because of my age. So for the longest time on social medias, I didn't want to talk about my age. I preferred people thinking I was older.
Mm.
But now I don't really care. Like I'm 19. should like do whatever you want with this information, you know.
If people find this interview from your TikToks, I bet they're gonna apologize in the comments. So don't worry, you're making them feel bad now. They'll-
I hope so. Because guys, like you told me this, I was 15 years old. Like
Oh, that
this is
sucks.
really
I think
first
that
year.
you could go viral actually for that. You put your song in it, and then you could say, "Hey, like, by the way, when I started this, I was a minor, but thank you guys for supporting me. But I think that you guys should know. Maybe you should tell them now that you can separate yourself from it. Do you think you want to tell them?
Hmm.
No, I want to keep it
Yeah,
secret.
totally. I don't know. I just think like it's in the past now. As long as people stay respectful now, that's
Hmm.
fine.
That must have sucked being at such a young age and having to deal with all this stuff. I do want to go back to your music because it's supposed to be about your music. But did your parents know? Did your relatives know? And you're from Paris, right? I'm starting to hear your accent now. We don't want to talk too much about France, but because you want to keep it secret. But in France, would you say that it's a different culture? Did your parents they upset? Like, how'd they feel about it?
They were upset, but like let's say that when I was a kid and mostly like a teenager, and I told him that I wanted to make music, my dad was supporting me, but my mom was kind of like, oh, maybe it's not for you because I like she always thought I was not good at singing, especially when I was a kid.
Oh,
And
moms are
that felt
terrible.
really hard for me because singing was my dream since I'm like 4 years old. And
Mm.
hearing your mom telling you that you're not good at singing was really hurtful. But once I started actually making music and releasing music, and I showed her, and she was really proud of me, and she showed it to the whole family and neighbors and everything.
So you
Like I
showed
feel like
her,
she
you showed her, just like, see, mom, I can sing.
yeah, like actually when I proved her that it was possible and that I actually tried and gave everything in order to be able to realize my dreams, like she was like, okay, fine, go with it. Just get a diploma, please.
Yeah, and my mom said the same thing. I learned from, because I was going to be a music major, I learned from my vocal professor that even if you are singing off key, you're still singing, and if you know how to make music, you're a musician. Kind of like even if you draw a stick figure, that's technically art, so you're an artist, just an artist in the making. And so singing in the shower and doing all those things, that's a good thing for people to do. Even if like, if you hear where you need to improve while you're singing, you just gotta sing. You just gotta just let it
Yeah,
out, be as loud as possible. And if you can hear it, then you know where to improve so you could become a better singer. I wish I could go
that's
back
what
in
I did.
time and tell my younger self, just to keep singing. And I'm really happy that you learned that and you didn't let anyone stop you from
Well,
that.
actually, I did something like that when I was 14. I received it pretty recently, but basically, these things where like you write to yourself for like 5 years in the future.
Yeah.
I did that when I was 14, and I remember writing like, "Oh, I hope you're still pursuing music. I hope you didn't give up on your dream of making music." And I completely forgot about it. Like I received it a few months ago, a few
Aw.
weeks after I released my first single, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna cry!" Like 14 years old me, like, "Don't worry, I
Oh.
didn't."
But you go
And it's
back in
going.
time and tell yourself, "Oh, you're gonna be famous one day. Everyone's gonna love your music." Would you?
Yeah. I want to meet my idols and everything as an artist, and I hope I can.
Well, being on the radio is the first step, and just keep going. Just keep going. And that I think that's absolutely wonderful. You're doing it while you're young because you have a head start and you have your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah.
And
Well, I hope that I started earlier, honestly, but I think everything happens for a reason, and I think maybe it would not have been as good, or I wouldn't have been as ready as I am to deal with all this at the time. So, yeah, I think everything happens for a reason at the right time.
hmm, I wanna also ask what the name Howlean means to you. Is that like because of Claudine from Monster High? Because it just fits you so well. You're very much like the Twilight type of werewolf stuff. So,
I love
what?
werewolves.
You're like a werewolf, literally. So,
I love werewolves. I've been wanting to be a werewolf my whole childhood, but unfortunately, like Howlin doesn't exactly come from this. It's kind of like a childish story, but at 13, 14, when I was the biggest fan of Youngblood and I started wanting to make music, I remember watching his interviews and the way he explained he found his name and everything. I was like, I want to make music, so I need to find a good artist name because I didn't want to use my first name. So I thought about it for the longest time and I couldn't find anything interesting.
Mm.
But at the time, my name on Instagram was the Howling Wolf.
Mm.
And I really like the word howling. Like, I was like, this word sounds really cool. And my name is Lian,
Mm.
but basically in France, um, like in France, you say it Lian, but some teachers and everything said it Lin when they called me and stuff. So I was like, wait, howling, lean, howling. Okay, I
That's
think this is
cool.
kind of cool. And at first I was like, no, I don't like it that much. I need to find something else. But at the end of the day, I was like, actually, I kind of like it, and no one has this name, so let's just go with it. So it's been like, I think 5 years that I use this name.
Nice. I mean, that's how you find your identity. You should have heard how a lot of musicians in the industry have found their names. You know, like the Gorillas. Damon came up with 2D, and I bet that it was just like this off idea that I should like. I don't know. I've been thinking about doing this, and then it took on a whole life of its own. And so when you are in the headspace of creating music, like what inspires you, and like do you have a headspace that you go into? Like what would you say the ritual is when you're making music? How what in a creative sense?
I would not say I have anything in particular. It's just that I'm hypersensitive and I feel emotions really intensely, especially sadness and anger. And I don't know, when I am feeling these and I'm just having a mental breakdown, I just feel the need
Oh.
to write and get these feelings out of my head before I impose. So it's generally when I write, it's just at night, I'm crying my like, oh, I'm not gonna
Oh.
curse,
No.
but I'm crying really loudly and I'm like, I'm gonna write. And that's how most of my texts came to life.
Oh.
But I feel like if I had to find one place in particular where I really feel creative, it's really like precise, but on the beach at night
Mm.
alone, where you're just like in front of the water and there's no noise except the waves and you just see like the reflection on the moon, on the sea and everything. Like it's really poetic, but
Oh, that is poetic. I
I
love that.
remember writing a few times when I was on vacation in this kind of place, just alone on the beach at night, looking at the moon, and I was like, I'm feeling so good right now. I just want to write. I just like I feel like everything is possible and like I don't hear all these voices like screaming in my head and I can just like focus on my feelings and write what I'm feeling. And that's an amazing feeling, to be honest.
That it must be. It is. You know, the best artists have that type of just be able to just go with it. And you know, it makes me sad that you feel such pain, but you do turn it into art, which is a nice thing. And so you live near the beach? Would you say you live near the beach? You can
I
you?
don't. Right now, I live in the center of Paris, so it's
Mm,
pretty far from the beach. I can always go like near the Seine, like the river, but it's not as good as the ocean, obviously. But like every time I go near the ocean for any reason, I need to take at least one night just by myself and go sit there and just like I don't know. I felt just so good. I don't know why exactly I feel so good in front of the ocean at night, but it just makes me feel good. I feel that with the forest as well, like forest at night. But yeah, just being near the water helps me a lot.
yeah, that's wonderful. You know, you know, when I was when my mom was pregnant with me, whenever she thought of me, she thought of the ocean, and so my name is 𝘸𝘸𝘸. 𝘸𝑸𝑛𝑛𝑎𝑠𝑒𝑎. And so I've always had a connection with the ocean, and I'm a sailor captain sailing the sound waves. So the ocean is a huge part of my identity. So I can understand your connection with the ocean. You must be, when you are writing music now, you close your eyes and you're on the beach, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. Just like put usually when I write music, I like to put ambient sounds in the background. Because I can't necessarily write when there's absolutely no sound because I just hear too much. Like I really feel like I sound crazy when I say this, but I hear
You
the
don't.
voices in my head like way too strong,
No, you
and
don't. That's
it's
very
hard to
common.
focus. It's hard to focus on what I want to write and the way I want it to sound. But in that case, I just thought like some background music, like forest or ocean, or like even not necessarily like ambient sound, like not waves or anything, but
Mm,
you just have this like ocean background or some like siren songs, this kind of stuff,
yeah.
and it helps me write a lot.
That's nice. That's nice. And so you need privacy when you write, you'd say. You need to be with
Yeah,
yourself and with your true self. I see.
yeah, I can write with a lot of people around.
What genre would you say your music is? And would you say that this genre is your calling? Like, what made you decide on this genre?
Honestly, don't exactly know what genre it could be, but I'd say it's a mix of like dark pop and alt rock with like like kind of
Yeah.
soft metal.
So you have your own style. You're creating your own subculture.
Yeah, I'd say I have my own style, but I'm getting like heavily inspired by other artists. So obviously, it's a mix of myself and my universe, but also mixed with like the things I like and the things I like to listen to.
Hmm.
So
That's
I feel
nice.
like I said before, I take a lot of inspiration from like Billie Eilish, Bad Omens, Paula Royale, Muse, Evanescence, and like I like some sounds that they have, and I'm just like, oh, I really like this thing right there. Like I want to do a song that takes kind of this vibe or this sound or this instrument or something and just incorporate it into my ideas. So I don't think I really decided, oh, I want to do this, but just like this is what I love to listen. So I want to be able to listen to my songs and feel the same way I feel when I listen to these songs.
Mm,
So I think that's what drives me the most.
nice, nice. And so I also want to ask what your favorite song that you have released. What would you say? And is there a song that you'd go back in time and write differently? Would you? Because I know you have an idea of what you want, maybe a set idea, but everybody has, that one song that is like, oh, that one's the best. And then they have that song, I wish I could change that one thing. But it's good to have a assurance of yourself. So which song would you say that is?
I don't think I've been writing like releasing music for long enough to say that because I only have two musics on streaming platforms, like three soon, but only two for now. So I'd say my favorite is probably Nemesis
Mm,
because it's the one that's the closest to what I listen to in terms of like genres. But I also love Reflection so much because it's my first song ever. So it's just like the first step into making my dreams come true. And I spent so much time on it. And I don't know, the song is also so important to me. And Lullaby is also important because I worked on it with a producer I really enjoy. And like, I feel like all my songs are really important to me. And even the texts that I have that are not like recorded yet or anything, like, I love all of it. And I think that's something that you should do. Like, you should make music that you love and not just make music to make music. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I don't think I would rewrite anything. I'm really proud of everything I released. And maybe in a few years, I'll do something like much better, and I'll be like, honestly, these songs suck. I don't
Well,
know. I feel like I'm really proud of this for now.
well, that's wonderful. And that's the confidence that you need. You're building right now. And I know you just started out, and you did. You got your whole life ahead of you. But after the first two songs, you'd be surprised. Some artists would be like, I don't know about this one, but um, oh man, running out of time. Zoom, of course, is a thorn in my paw. um,
That's
and
okay.
And so reflection, we covered the story behind that, and I want to know something about your personal style, and besides the music, the way that you dress, because it's not too niche. A lot of people resonate with it on TikTok, but so you'd say that would you say that you're gothic?
No, I would not say so. Like, I would say my style takes inspiration of like gothic movements, but
Mhm.
I don't listen to enough goth music to consider myself goth. But I would definitely say that my style is alternative. I am really passionate about like the gothic movement, the punk movement, the
Yeah.
like the old Victorian era, all these stuff. And I would definitely say that I incorporate a bit of like everything in my style. I'm a huge fan of Vivienne Westwood. I'm a huge fan of like
Ah,
Yves Saint Laurent, Chrome Hearts, this kind of stuff. So yeah, I think I've got a lot of this, but
you like Tim
honestly, I
Burton?
just love to look funky. You know what? Like
Yeah,
I
right,
like to
yeah.
look like fire.
Yeah, you want to look like a
I think that's
vampire. Like the
yeah.
Twilight, and that's the Tim Burton released the Dark Shadows. Do you like the Corpse Bride? Maybe Night Before Christmas.
I love Tim Burton. Tim Burton is one of my biggest inspirations in terms of drawing, in terms of like even my music videos, like the universe in general. My mom is also a huge Tim Burton fan, and she showed me the movies when I was just a kid. I think the first one I saw was Nightmare Before Christmas, and then
Mm.
Corpse Bride. And my favorite at the time was Edward Scissorhands. So yeah, I definitely grew up like watching the Tim Burtons, and they're still my favorite movies. Like I'm really passionate about Tim. Um, and I also grew up like watching like Charms, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Supernatural, this kind of stuff, like
Nice.
Twilight, Harry Potter. So everything that's just like kind of dark and spooky, but comforting at the same time. You know what
Y-
I mean?
Yeah,
So I want to really go into this.
that's awesome. I love Tim Burton too. And you said I look like a Tim Burton character. I've been told this, but I feel like you look like a Tim Burton character. So just you're going the vibe you're going for, you're accomplishing really well. I just want you to know that. And that being said, do you feel like one of your hobbies is watching movies, like, and what do you do behind the music, like a day in the life of you? Do you like when you wake up in the morning, do you drink coffee? Like what is the life of Howlean?
Honestly, my life is kind of chaotic. I'm not gonna lie. Usually it depends on the day, but if I have class, I'm just gonna wake up. I try to wake up as late as possible, so I just prepare quickly because I want to have the most sleep I can.
Oh,
I
same,
need a lot of
relatable.
sleep because the thing is, I'm a night owl, and like I can't fall asleep
Yeah, you're a
before like at
werewolf.
least one.
You go by the moon. You're obviously,
Yeah, exactly.
you
So
burn in the
like
sun. You're a vampire.
when I go to sleep at 1 a.m. and I have to wake up at 6 in the morning the next day, I feel so dead. But yeah, I just wake up, I try and go to class. And then I'd say when I come home, if I'm feeling creative, I'm gonna try and write music. But usually, like I said, when I write music, it's mostly on the moment. It's not like I decide how I want to write a song right now. Let's do it. It's more like, oh, I'm feeling something really intense right now. I'm gonna write about it, you know?
Yeah.
So I try and write, but except that I'm really artsy in general. So
Yeah.
I love to draw. You can see some of my drawings on my Instagram, like highlights. I also do photography. I have a photography account. Um, I also make necklaces. I love to make necklaces.
You make
And
necklaces.
yeah, like I made some jewelries. And when I was in Toronto for 2 years, I studied fashion design. So I also draw a lot of like clothing and everything. And I feel like fashion is not really like I love fashion, but it's not my passion. Music is. But if I'm able to really build a community and make myself a name in the music industry, I would really like to create my own brand. I think that would definitely be one of my goals.
Yeah, that's nice. And so that, like, can you play the electric guitar? Like, how many, like, instruments can you play? Like,
I can only play the guitar, but I would not say I'm really good at it. Like, I'm good enough to play basic rhythmics and basic chords, but definitely not good enough to, I think, write a real song on the guitar. Like, it would be really simple.
mm, but you'd still
Because
be
the thing is,
playing.
yeah, I started playing when I was 14, but I don't play enough. Like, I
Mm.
play once every 3 months, so I'm not playing often enough to become better.
Well,
Because
I remember something that was said. It is, I fear not the man that practiced 1,000 kicks one time, but the man that practiced one kick 1,000 times. So focus on your vocals, and that is an instrument. That can be your instrument. That's your medium. So you're a vocalist. That's what you are. You're a vocalist. You don't have to be a guitarist. You can, but your voice is enough. And what is your vocal range? Like, what's the highest note that you can hit?
Oh, I remember I noted this because I saw the question. I wanted to be specific about it.
Hmm.
Let me
I
just
feel like you're
find.
an alto, but I feel like you also have a
Yeah, I am an alto. I am an alto, but I think I noted precisely. Yeah, my highest notes is approximately like A5,
hmm,
and I think my lowest is like E5, something like that.
I see.
So yeah, yeah, I'm an alto, I'd say.
Cool. It's the deep voice fits so well with the vibe you're going for, because we associate like deep with dark, like the darker you
Mhm.
go into the ocean. So that's
Yeah,
nice.
definitely.
Have you tried to hit higher notes?
I tried, but the highest I can only reach them in head voice,
Hmm.
which is still nice. Honestly, I worked a lot of my head voice, and it sounds really nice. But I definitely want to try to hit like higher notes with my chest voice, but for now it's way too hard. But with my head voice, I can easily do like Evanescence songs and stuff like that. So
Cool.
I think that's
I I
that's
started out as an alto and I built my way up to soprano, and now it's hard for me to sing
yeah.
alto. So, you could get there. And are you going to be releasing any new music? Oh, no way. There's one question I want to get to. So when you create content, do you have a set plan, or do you just go like do it as you go? Like the ones that go the most viral, do you have an idea of what you want, or do you just start recording?
Honestly, I just look up sounds, and if I found a sound that I like and that inspires me, I just save it for later. And if it's something that really inspires me, I'm gonna do more of a set and like a makeup and stuff like that for it. But most of the time, it's just like, oh, I like the sounds. Let's record something on it. Let's do a TikTok on it. It's cool. And
Cool.
that's mostly it.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens next. So, what can we expect from Howlean in the future? You're going to make more TikToks? You're going to release any music? Because I know you got music coming up. So, what are you planning to do?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna focus mainly on music because I'm gonna use TikTok as a way of building my community and like reaching more people and everything, but I don't want to make TikTok a career, like
Yeah,
that's not really interesting to me.
it's just a tool that
Um,
you can use to get ahead.
yeah, it's just a tool. I just do it for fun. It helps me with my self-confidence, but I definitely don't want to do a TikTok career. But I really want to focus 100% on my music, and I have my third song gonna be released in a few weeks with the MV. I'm also gonna do a release party in Paris to show up like the MV, and there's also gonna be probably openers and stuff. I want to plan more shows. Hopefully, I'd like to do like to be opener for
Mm,
an artist, but I haven't found anyone yet.
he'll get there.
I'm also probably do I'm gonna do a collab maybe with a Toronto artist that I like.
Okay.
So it's not sure for now, so I don't want to say too much about it. But I contacted her a few months ago, and we became friends. And she told me like if she had a demo or something to send to me, she would.
Ah! It seems as though we have ran out of time, everyone. However, thank you so much for listening to the man behind the music. You can hear Howlean's song on Spotify. We are going to play a little snippet of that song that we were talking about. We're going to play Reflection, I believe, and I very much enjoy this, so thank you very much for tuning in to the man behind the music. That was Howlean, and I hope that you enjoy. Oh, here we go. All right, let's do this.
My breath is short, stolen from my chest. Why do I feel this way? My heart's oppressed. Trapped in my thoughts, I'm a prisoner. The thunder rumbles. Cold sweat, I hear her drawing near. Your hands around my throat, a grip so tight and clear. I see her everywhere, my reflection. Can't recognize myself, my reflection. Myself, myself, thousands of times my peace. Hands are shaking, is this still a nightmare? Seeking my reflection in the face, looking there. Because I'm when she remains in desire. I'm not scared, there's no doubt, just my reflection. I see her everywhere. Myself, my reflection, master of my sense. I won't listen, I'll forever lose my peace.
What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? What do you want? I don't.